4, 5, and 6, we're doing the domain or the range of the graph of a continuous function. Remember that domain are our x values and range are our y values. So for our domain, we're using the x-axis, and we always go from smallest to largest, so we're going to go from left to right. Our range is our y-axis. Again, if I'm going from smallest to largest, I'm going to go from the bottom to the top. So if I'm going to list what my domain of this graph is, there's nothing back here. Our first point to the left has an x value of -3. My graph is continuous. The farthest point to the right has an x value of 5. And then, of course, I need my endpoints. The 3 we are including. We are on the graph. The 5 we're not including, so that's going to have a parenthesis. For my range I'm looking at the bottommost point right here, which is at y equals -5, and my graph is continuous, and my highest point has a y value of 4. The -5 we are touching is going to have a bracket. The 4 has the open circle, is going to have a parenthesis. So when you're thinking about domain and range, domain you want to go from the farthest left point to the farthest right point on your x-axis. Range you want to go from the bottom point to the top point. So number 5, if I'm looking at that graph and I'm going to do my domain, my farthest to the left point has an x value of -2. My graph is continuous, and the farthest to the right point has an x value of 5. I'm not including the -2. I am including the 5. For my range, my bottom point on my graph has a y value of -4. The top point of my graph has a y value of 2. I am including the -4. I am not including the 2. And so there would be my domain and my range. The third one's a little bit trickier. Again, if I think about my domain is the farthest left point. The x value of that is at -3. To the farthest right point, the x value of that is a +3. I am including the -3. I am not including the +3. So that part wasn't so bad. But now when I think about my range, we said our range is the bottommost point on our graph, which is down here at -4, to the top point of our graph, which is up here at +5. This point right here doesn't have an open circle on it. It is a point on the graph. We are touching at -4. Up here, if I drew a line here, I am touching the graph at 5, so that is also going to have a bracket. If these were both open, then it would have a parenthesis, but since one of them's filled in, I am touching at that point, so it is going to have a bracket on it.